I'm here with Ethan Barkley from the CMDRA. Ethan, tell me a little bit about this beautiful machine you ride.
This beautiful machine is nicknamed Eleanor. It's a 2006 GS6R 1000. Races in the CMDRA Pro Street class. I've been fortunate to race with the CMDRA for about 12 years now. And this bike here started out as a street bike like everybody else has, and then we highly modify it, but there's a lot of stock parts still.
Yeah.
And this is what you end up in Pro Street.
And how fast do you go?
I hold the Canadian record at 7.50, and our top speed so far in the quarter is 194.58.
What does that feel like? 194.58. What does that feel like at top end?
It's pretty good. It's a good rush, I guess. The biggest thing is when you sit up at the end, you know if you had a good run at 190 or so, it tries to pull you right off. You're like a human parachute. But everybody asks me that. It's pretty hard to describe because over the years I've been racing, which has been about 10 or 12 now, you've kind of built your way up. So
right.
It's not as adrenaline rushing as everybody expects. Like, oh, it's 190, it must be just wild. It's like, well, it's kind of another day at the office, right? You're kind of used to it. But on a good run, you can definitely tell. It's got a good pull in the middle, and you're like, okay, I'm on something.
Right.
Gotta stay low.
How big of a team have you got working with you?
I've actually reduced over the years.
I knew
I've
that.
I've downsized, unfortunately, with the economy. But no, I just pretty much myself. I do sponsor a couple other guys, and I've been importing parts and distributing parts in the drag, this kind of world, the Pro Street world, to a lot of the other competitors in Pro Street Canada. So mostly me, myself, and I.
Right on.
Yeah.
And testing and tuning, that's got to be a little bit of fun with this baby.
Yeah, there's definitely, that's probably the biggest thing you have to do in this class is you don't necessarily need to have the fastest stuff on paper. You really need to have the fastest stuff at the track. So to do that, you really have to test. You have to go out lots and make lots of runs and figure things out, get your data. Thankfully, I've been doing this for long enough that I've got a good little binder of notes, and I can come to the track pretty prepared and do well.
For the young racer considering getting into the sport,
sure,
what would you recommend to them as far as a place to start?
I think the first place to start in drag racing anyway would be your Friday night street legals at your local track, whether it be Edmonton or Medicine Hat or wherever. Typically, those tracks will have a Friday night secret street, and for $25 you can get out and make some runs.
Right.
Moving forward, I like to see people in our series, the CMDRA obviously. We have the Trev Daly Race School and free entry for first-time racers.
Right.
So we really want to promote that and get people out of the stands, off the streets with their bikes. If they're not going to goof around on the street, we want them playing in our backyard. So come down to the CMDRA and you can race for free. We'll take you up and make some passes.
And a lot of mentoring.
Yeah, obviously we have a few key people that would help with the race school. I've dabbled in it a little bit. I'm pretty busy with other things as a director, but I try and get into the race school. Obviously guys like Greg Wesley and Don Fergan have helped out a lot. So we've got some really good depth of knowledge in the CMDRA, and actually in Canada we have some great people up here, there's no question. And those people would help mentor and bring up some newbies, as we call them, and get them into the sport. And I've helped hopefully a lot of people as well in doing shows such as this and the Calgary Motorcycle Show.
Right. And for yourself, Pro Street, is that kind of the place you want to stay, or are you thinking of moving up to Top Fuel or any of those kinds of?
Nobody's offered me a ride yet. I don't know if I'd want to do that. I kind of like where I'm at right now. Pro Mod is maybe something I'd like to dabble in, but for now I think I'm going to try and work with a couple Pro Mod teams and bring over some of the technology that we use in Pro Street and bring that into Pro Mod with a couple of people, because I think people are blown away at how quick we can go without a wheelie bar and without a slick.
What would you say is the future of this sport? Is it getting more people into the stands? Is it getting more young racers starting out at the street level? What is it that you see as the vision that's going to create the future for the CMDRA?
Well, definitely we're fighting difficulties. There's no question. Getting people in the stands is always difficult. There's lots of other things to do besides go to a motorcycle race and come watch. Although we really appreciate the people that do come out. It's a good sport. I think motorcycling in general has a good following, but you're right, we have to get the younger generation into it. And I think what's happened in drag racing, as a generalization, there's been a bit of a stagnation, whereas you've seen a lot of the bikes that came over from the 80s and early 90s that they haven't broke, they haven't died, they're still there at the racetrack. Nothing wrong with that, but getting stuff such as this bike or newer sport bikes especially, which is a younger demographic, typically a 25-year-old male. That's what we want to see and come to the racetrack, and hopefully they bring their friends and family with them.
Right.
As far as the fans go, we want to try and do some new marketing moves, get involved with more of the energy drinks or something like that, or the GoPro cameras and all those kind of things. So those are the things we want to try and incorporate in the next couple of years, and obviously work the internet and public media as far as Twitters and Facebooks and all that. So we're doing the right things. Just going to take us a couple of years.
Well, it's like anything. When you're trying to grow it, it's baby steps and just
absolutely
consistency. Very much like at the track.
Yeah, obviously consistently wins.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, when you're on the track, the person who's the most consistent in their ETAs and their top speeds is the one that's going to end up taking that championship home at the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, you have to apply constant pressure to the things we're trying to do as a directorship. We've got the right ideas. Obviously, we're limited in resources. There's only 7 of us, and we have some help from volunteers, which is always great. But we have our troubles, like every association would. But we're a diligent group. We've had good support from people like yourself, which thank you very much. And we'll get there. I think we're on the upswing. I talk to a lot of people all over North America, other race series. Their attendance has been going down. We're going up.
Yeah.
We've had a better bike count in the last couple of years.
You guys had some great attendance in September.
Yeah, the year
Edmonton.
finals in Edmonton. It was
awesome.
A good-looking crowd, and we'll hopefully be back there again this summer for our year finals.
Let's talk a little bit about your sponsors, because you guys are really getting some great sponsors like Drag Specialties and Parts Canada.
Yeah, absolutely. Our key sponsors would be the Parts Canada Drag Specialties Group, as well as Screaming Eagle, Dealey Harley-Davidson. They've been a huge supporter. Those two have been really with us since the many years in inception, and without big sponsors like that, you can't run an organization of this size. We really want to maintain our motorcycle-only status, which is great. I think we're the only people in essentially North America that are motorcycle-only. So to maintain that is difficult, but we've got some great upcoming on board, and we're always looking for more sponsors.
Right. Where can people find out more information about the CMDRA and the upcoming schedule if they're interested in maybe coming out and trying out a little bit of drag racing, or just coming out and supporting you guys? Absolutely. The best place to visit us is obviously our website, cmdra.com. The other places we're at is at CMDRA 2013 on Twitter and CMDRA on Facebook. Those are the 3 locations to really keep up with the CMDRA, and there you can see our schedule, apply for sponsorships, and as far as all your licenses, all the information should be there, and obviously we have a toll-free phone number if anybody has any questions. That's wonderful. Well, thank you very much for spending some time with us today. Thank you very much, Ethan, and let's see you guys come on out to the racetrack and support these guys and watch them go fast, and who knows, maybe you'll get on your bike and get in that street class. Thank you. Thank you. All right.